Straight ahead on CCX News, saving with the sun, the largest solar project ever done on Minnesota city buildings, and it's right in Brooklyn Park. Plus, a City Hall renovation, how construction will impact residents visiting Plymouth City Hall. And celebrating 25 years, the company with Brooklyn Center roots that's ready to give customers an extra jolt. CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. Brooklyn Park's ambitious solar energy plan is underway.
The city has begun installing panels on selected buildings. As Eric Nelson reports, it is the largest solar project ever done by a Minnesota city.
There's no physical intrusions into the roof.
It's time for a panel discussion.
No cost to Brooklyn Park up front.
Solar panels, that is.
Our solar journey has been over a year in the making, multiple meetings with the council, public meeting for our residents to see what we're looking at, and it culminated just this fall.
Brooklyn Park is taking the solar plunge. The city has put up panels at the main fire station.
We expect these panels to save up to $1,000 in electrical costs at our fire station here in a 12-month period.
In a few weeks, these glass rectangles will start generating clean energy as Brooklyn Park begins the solar era.
The great thing is, when you look behind us, you don't see any smokestacks, you don't see trucks hauling in coal, you don't see any nuclear-powered facilities. It's using the sun.
Here at the fire station, there are 124 panels up on the roof, and they will be used to power 80% of this building.
Cedar Creek Energy is putting in the solar panels, which are designed to work in any kind of weather conditions.
Think of a solar power calculator. They still work in your household. They get some ambient solar light. Same thing with this. They're generating power even on cloudy days, just that they're at peak power on a nice, bright, sunshiny day.
State grant money has made this program possible. And going solar is expected to save Brooklyn Park a minimum of $60,000 after one full year of production.
The grant money goes right towards the capital cost of the solar facilities, and we get a nominal reduction in our energy cost, up to $1,000 savings just in this building.
Solar power is also efficient. There is no wasted energy.
The way that this is set up, the power that these panels collect feeds right into the fire station, and it's used as it's generated.
In Brooklyn Park, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
The other places in Brooklyn Park getting solar panels are the police department, community activity center, water treatment plant, and 3 buildings at the operations and maintenance facility.
In other news, Brooklyn Center Police are investigating a suspicious death. Officers were called to a Winners gas station off of Humboldt Avenue Sunday morning. When they arrived, they found a man in the gas station bathroom not breathing. Police administered CPR but could not revive him. And Brooklyn Center Police are still trying to determine how the man died. His identity has not been released, but police believe he was from outstate Minnesota.
Property taxes will go up for some homeowners in Plymouth next year due to a significant investment in public safety. The Plymouth City Council this week approved an $89 million budget, with the property tax levy going up 4.7%. For the average value home of $350,000, homeowners can expect to see about a $23 increase in their city property taxes. Plymouth is adding a 5th patrol district, one of the biggest reasons for that increase. Public safety takes up about 48% of the city's budget. According to Hennepin County tax figures, Plymouth still has the lowest tax rate among suburbs with more than 45,000 people. That's just ahead of Edina.
If you step inside Plymouth City Hall, you'll notice a lot of work underway. Staff is making way for a 3-month project to reconfigure and update the administrative services and parks departments. And when the work is done, there will be a more open office environment, allowing for more flexibility. But it also means the Parks and Recreation offices will temporarily move to the Plymouth Creek Center starting next Wednesday.
Our building's 40 years old. It will be making some permanent repairs to some temporary patches in areas that are being worked on, and updating space that has not been touched for 2 decades.
The main entrance to City Hall will be closed, and visitors are being asked to go through the public safety building.
2 housing options for seniors are recommended for preliminary approval by Brooklyn Park's Planning Commission. That tops our look inside City Hall. The first would build a 16-unit residential healthcare facility where there's a stand of trees on Zane Avenue near 93rd. The proposal is scaled back from earlier plans for a 3-story, 50-unit assisted living center. A company called Motivate Home Services is proposing a group home for adults with disabilities needing 24-hour care. It will go to the City Council next month. And also in Brooklyn Park, a large-scale development proposal that's been in the works for 10 years is now getting some tweaks. The so-called Astra Village project is a multi-use development proposed for 150 acres of land near Highway 610. The changes include adding a 207-unit market-rate apartment building and a 103-unit senior assisted living building. Residents voiced strong concern about too much traffic on 93rd Avenue. One Planning Commission member says apartments are needed with more industrial jobs coming into the city.
Brooklyn Center-based Caribou Coffee is celebrating a major milestone. The first Caribou Coffee House opened 25 years ago in Edina. The company has grown to more than 700 locations around the U.S. and globally. And to celebrate the silver anniversary, Caribou's leadership team, including the president and the CEO, donned antlers and served up a lunch for employees at the headquarters. Employees also got a bag of an exclusive blend called Bright Spot, roasted just for them. The Caribou brand extends beyond the Midwest, but its roots remain in Minnesota.
Our heart is in the Midwest. There's a lot of love for Caribou, specifically in Minnesota, because we started here. But we are continuing to grow, and it's really fun to see how cabin lives outside of the Midwest. Whether it's cabin or cottage or going up north, everyone kind of has their own take on what the cabin experience is.
Caribou is launching a new drink, the Cabin Bar Mocha, in January to celebrate 25 years. They're also roasting a new blend in the next couple of weeks called Bold North for the Super Bowl. Still ahead, a school spotlight focused on reading, how it's an especially big focus at a Plymouth elementary school.
Plus, it takes overtime to decide a boys basketball thriller for Maple Grove and Cooper. The highlights coming up later in sports.
But first, another chance for more snow on Friday night. Reading, of course, is a core subject taught in any elementary school.
And the hope is that students will grow to enjoy and appreciate reading. But that's easier said than done. In today's School Spotlight, Delane Cleveland shows us what Greenwood Elementary in the Wayzata School District is doing to foster a love of reading.
I am on page 123.
Take one step into Mrs. Sullivan's 5th grade class at Greenwood Elementary in Plymouth, and you'll see a group of students quietly fixated on storybooks. In fact, the only sound in this class,
so if you were the character, what would you do?
Is that of Mrs. Sullivan discussing plot points of books with students.
I wouldn't want to go, but then I'd also be really curious on where I would go.
These book discussions are part of Greenwood's mission to encourage kids to be lifelong readers.
We do a great job of, choosing books for kids that we know are going to engage them and maybe see a world that they didn't think could happen in a book.
I'm going to tell you about is called Clifford and the Grouchy Neighbors.
The older kids aren't the only ones involved in book talks.
Because they had to drive, he technically drove them there.
Even the first graders are taught how to talk to one another about books they've read.
There's been this grassroots effort to invest in book talks, which is basically kind of a fancy way of saying talking about books that you love.
Brad Gustafson is Greenwood's principal, and he's not joking about the school's focus on book talks.
This book is action-packed and very interesting. It starts out kind of slow, but then it gets really good.
Greenwood created the Twitter hashtags GWGreats and GWReads. Search the hashtags.
This is Bookcast.
And you'll find videos of students talking about their favorite books.
We're here, rock and read.
Rock and read? Break it down.
I stay up too late. There's something in my brain.
Teachers say the book talks have helped students develop a passion for reading.
It was very authentic in a way that it was like me going up to my friend and saying, hey, you should read this book. It's such a great book for you and you might relate to it in this way. And I think just having those discussions and having those talks has really helped foster that community of reading.
I think I got this. I think I got this. You ready?
Videos and social media aren't the only tools they use to help with learning.
Well, we're building our books.
The kids also have a Lego wall they can utilize to build block versions of their favorite book covers.
Yeah, it's gonna get really hard when we have to make the name.
The hope is that when the roughly 800 students in grades K through 5 leave Greenwood and transition to middle school, that they'll fall in love with learning. Ask a few students about their thoughts on Greenwood.
It's like gonna be the best school I've ever been to.
And you'll get a sense.
I like everything about this school. It's awesome. This is my third school and this has been my favorite by far.
Of how much they enjoy it here.
I mean, their potential truly is limitless. We're just kind of setting that scaffolding really early so that they can build the skills.
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
Outstanding book reviews and school reviews right there, right?
And a great little video.
Yeah. Still ahead, the force behind a large toy drive.
But first, the Maple Grove Gymnastics team is off to a strong start, and Jay Wilcox will have more on that next in sports.
The Maple Grove Gymnastics team has won all of its conference duels so far this season, and they're aiming to continue getting better as they work toward another section title. Here's Jason Malillo with more.
Maple Grove doesn't have a bona fide star this season, but the Crimson has a lot of solid gymnasts up and down the roster.
We're really a deep team. We have a lot of girls with a lot of big skills.
Maple Grove won its section last season, but a 6th place finish at the state meet was a bit disappointing.
We were actually in 3rd place until our last event, and then I think we just got nervous and we ended up in 6th place.
To that end, the girls are eager to get back to state and show what they can do.
We all remember how exciting it was, and I think we definitely all want to go back this year, and especially as a team and as individuals. So
I think now that we had a little taste of it last year, some of them come back a little more hungry and want to step it up a little bit, and they know what to expect, and the veterans are ready to try something bigger and better.
On Friday, the Crimson will have its last meet of 2017, followed by a 3-week break from competition. That respite will be invaluable for the girls as they aim to get healthy and perfect their skills for the second half of the season.
It's really important because you want to feel confident with your new skills, because if you're nervous about it, then you probably won't do them very well. So you obviously want to be confident.
During winter break, we always work on upping our skills, and sometimes if we've been holding back a little bit, not throwing the harder skills, we'll get those in winter break, work on them a little, and then the goal is to throw them after winter break.
Maple Grove is at Champlain Park Friday in a meet you can see tape-delayed coverage of Saturday at 4 p.m. here on CCX. Well, the Maple Grove and Cooper boys basketball teams each had close games in their openers, with Maple Grove edging Rogers in overtime and Cooper losing to Minneapolis Roosevelt. The Crimson beat an attempted trap here, and Jordan Stensland's one-touch pass leads to a dunk for Alex Batiste for Maple Grove. Cam Vaughn with a great feed to Jamonte Warren for the reverse layup, plus a foul here for Cooper. Maple Grove, though, opens the lead as Jared Rainey buries a three-pointer. It's 33-20 Crimson at the half. But Bo Powell's Hawks come out strong in the second half. Trocon Massey with the jam here as the Hawks start a rally. Jalen Justice heats up, sinking a long three on his way to a 21-point night for the Hawks. Then Cooper gets a steal. They send it ahead to Nathan Hill for the layup. Cooper goes in front 54-52. But down by 3, Rainey gets the scoop shot to go. His free throw ties it. And we go to overtime, tied up at 58-58. Rainey gets fouled and hits one of 2 free throws with 3 seconds remaining in OT. And Cooper's desperation try at the buzzer won't fall. Maple Grove wins its second straight overtime game. Though they lost a 2-point game to Totino Grace Wednesday night, Brooklyn Center's boys basketball team is playing well early this winter. They're hoping to make it a memorable season. Despite that loss Wednesday, it's been a very good start for Brooklyn Center.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the start we're having right now. And, just trying to come back from last year and how we lost it last year.
The Centaurs' first 4 wins aren't just any victories either. They beat a solid St. Paul Johnson team, edged David Roddy led Breck, whipped 4A team Centennial, and got some revenge against the team that beat them in the Section 5 AA quarterfinals last season, Holy Family.
Yeah, they're really big 4-game wins. Holy Family ended our season last year, so we just beat them, and then Breck, David Roddy, he's big, tough. So yeah, it was good 4 wins.
We opened with Johnson, who's a 3A traditional powerhouse. They go to state probably 80% of the time. Played 4A Centennial and then 2 section victories. Breck and Holy Family, who actually both have ended our seasons the last 2 years.
Coach Matthew McAllister knows this group is ready to be challenged, so he sought to schedule some tough non-conference games against teams from all classes.
So we want to be able to see everything that we can during the regular season in our non-conference schedule to prepare us for March, to go up against various teams. Minneapolis North we have in section, and then our goal is to make state if we can play teams like Caledonia, St. Cloud Cathedral.
When we play against all them 3A teams and all the teams that's ranked higher than us and all that, we want to play them, so see how good they are and battle test us.
Brooklyn Center last made the state tournament in 1983. This Centaurs team is hoping to make a run at state this winter. Brooklyn Center is ranked 6th in Class 2A this week. They play Benilde St. Margaret's on Saturday. That's all for sports. Mike and Alex, back to you.
All right, Jay, thank you. Up next, a toy donation drive like none other.
We are live in Golden Valley for the details. Coming up next. This is the time of year when many give to those less fortunate.
And there's an example of that in Golden Valley, where law enforcement is preparing to deliver a big donation. And reporter Shannon Slatton is live in Golden Valley to tell us what it's all about. Shannon?
There are going to be some very happy kids on Christmas, all because of the deliveries that are in cars like this one, a police car from Mendota Heights. Let me show you what's inside. They are all loaded down with toys. In this car, we have some basketballs, some board games, some Star Wars Legos, and of course, my personal favorite, a doll named Shannon. Now, who wouldn't want that? This is just one example of the deliveries inside police cars that are stretched all the way down this road around the block. We have cars here, or police cars here from Bayport, from Stillwater, West St. Paul, as well as police departments right in our area like Osseo and Maple Grove. One of the people who started this, or the guy who started this 23 years ago, Commander Steve Johnson, thanks for being here. Can you imagine, did you imagine that it would be this big when you started this back when?
First of all, it's awesome. It's the men and women that step up, come out here every day, dedicate their profession to help protect all of us. They've stepped up year after year. When we did this first year, we didn't know if anyone would show up. And the first year was a success, and now it's come to this time, it's huge, and we get a lot of squads from all over.
And at 5 o'clock, these are going to roll out, head right down the block to a Toys for Tots drop-off location. And if you want to donate to Toys for Tots, you still have time. The cutoff date is December 20th, and you can find out more information on our website, ccxnews.org.
Thank you very much, and that's it for now. Have a good night.
We will see you here back on Friday.